Welcome to this week's episode of Creating Magic. I'm Dani.
And I'm Paula, and today we are joined by our official ACOTAR correspondent, Angel, and Trisha to discuss Wings and Ruin.
As a warning, as always, there will be spoilers. We are only talking up through Wings and Ruin. There will not be spoilers for anything after that. So proceed at your own risk.
All right. Angel's been here before, but introduce yourself, tell us your pronouns, and then Trisha can go off.
All right, so my name's Angel. My pronouns are he, him, and my Instagram handle is Wizard of Main Street.
Hi, everyone. I am Trisha. My pronouns are she, her, and my Instagram handle is the Texas Potterhead.
Does that mean you're in Texas?
I am. I am centrally located in Texas.
Well, happy Slytherin Pride Day to you Slytherins out there, since that is the day we are recording.
How perfect is that?
Yay, Slytherins!
Woo! Are we going to sort? We're going to sort the characters into houses today. How many celebrate the Slytherins?
Maybe not today, but I think we should do that one day.
Maybe we'll do that as a wrap up of the series. After we've done all the books, we'll do a full wrap up.
That's a good idea.
Until the next book comes out,
because I've switched Lucian from houses like 4 times.
I just know this. Y'all better not put Ianthe in Slytherin.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, like,
she was cunning.
I don't think she even got into the school. I don't think she
She's probably a Durmstrang.
Yeah. Thank you.
I don't know.
But wrong.
I don't know, guys. All right. So how are we starting this?
I don't know. Did Dani, you had the questions?
So before that, the one person I would take Ianthe in my house over Tamlin in my house.
Facts.
I was gonna say, I said Ianthe gives me Ravenclaw vibes a little bit. She gives me those.
We
those
got enough
vibes.
bad characters in our house.
Yeah, that's true.
We got freaking Lockhart. Like, we don't need another one of. But, Paula, why don't we start off with all of your reactions before we get into questions to how you felt about Wings and Ruin?
Wings and Ruin is
ruined you?
Ruined me, yes, because I would be like, oh, I'm so happy. Oh, I'm so sad. Oh my God, what the hell? Oh my God. Like, I was just like, I didn't know what to feel anymore. I was like, in every chapter, something happens in like every chapter.
Yes.
I was like, this is like, once you got like past like chapter 30, there was like, I have to keep going. I left my my book club behind because I was like, there's too much going on. I need to know what's happening. So I just like, I read it pretty quickly considering the size of the book, but I also went on vacation. So that's like cheating a little bit.
I don't know. I don't think it's cheating. We told you you'd finish it. If you were on vacation, you finished it fast. So
I sure did.
Yeah.
And all of that whole ship was like, there's something wrong with this girl. Because I was like, what? Sitting by the pool deck, like yelling.
The size of that book was like, I didn't think I was ever going to finish it. I was like, oh my gosh, this book is humongous. But like she said, like something happens like after you get after Mist of Fear, you're like, oh, this is so beautiful. I love this so much. And then they're just like right into it. And you're like, what is going on? Like I got whiplash from book 2 to book 3. Like, where are we at? And every chapter is something else. You're like, oh, I love them. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm crying. I'm happy. Like it's a lot. They wanted to make sure you felt all the emotions in this book.
There were even some chapters where you felt like, yes, but then you were like, oh no.
Yeah.
In the same chapter, and you're like, can I just like enjoy something? Like,
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. I had a question. Oh, go ahead, Angel.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, so one thing I wanted to ask you guys about, at the beginning of the very beginning of the book, the prologue, it starts out, with that scene where Reese is like, kind of like a flashback scene where he's like walking to the previous war and he's like searching for Cassian and Azrael to make sure they like weren't among the dead. Like, how did that make y'all feel going into the book?
I was scared. So I was like, is the whole book gonna be like this? Because I was like, oh no, like I felt bad because I'm reading it and I'm just thinking about how much he loves them and how he would feel if he did find them. So yeah, and I was like, maybe this is why people keep using the emotional damage audio with this book, and now I get it.
I also thought it was going to be a little bit of, I thought it was actually a scene. It took me a while to recognize it was about the first war, not this war. Like I thought it was like a chapter ahead, you know what I mean? Or like later in the book, like he was looking for them, like they had been down somewhere and just making sure they weren't dead or anything. But yeah, it was sad. And it's funny, this book did not give me as much war. Like Sabrina always asked me, like, are you at the war yet? Are you at the war yet? I was like, well, they're planning, they're prepping, they're talking. I was like, when's the actual battle? And I feel like she always told me the third book is the war, and the war is like maybe about this much of the whole book.
Yeah, but it does seem like it goes on forever, like because there's so much. If you like take into account like the like little skirmishes leading up to like the big one, it does seem like forever. Yeah,
like the whole hologram thing.
That was wild. That was wild.
Oh no, they tricked you.
I was really scared starting the book off that way, because I was like, okay, are they showing us this now, and are we gonna find out later that like Cassie and Azrael like die in this one, or that Reese does? It's like the opposite way around, like them looking for him. I was like scared. I was like, we're losing everybody here. I am not ready for this book.
And still, well, I don't want to say it now. I'll say it at the end. But just like Angel has said on every episode, we're traumatized by Game of Thrones. So I'm just waiting for somebody. There's like no way we could keep going and nobody dies. Like, look at.
Well, I don't know. Danny just gave us a face. Danny made a face. This is a recording, but Danny made a face. And well, I want to, I thought the same thing, Paula. Like I was telling Sabrina, I was like, Reese has got to die. He's going to die. Like it's just going to happen. And it's my Game of Thrones trauma. But then like, do you remember when we found out Elaine was, okay, spoiler, Elaine is a seer. And Cass is talking about, oh, it's going to take more than that to take me out. And she's all like,
no, it's not.
Yeah. It's not a spoiler though, right? Like we knew that.
No.
Well, I mean,
hate you, Elaine.
Elaine just literally said Cassian's going to die in some way, shape, or form. Like
in her weird Elaine way.
Right. And maybe I should, let me see.
We don't mess with Cassian.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love Reese too, but like Cassian is the one. Like, don't mess with him. No, don't do it.
I love Cassian, but not like in like because I know like people are like, oh, this is my book boyfriend. I'm like, no, I just love Cassian because Cassian's like the type of person I would never be interested in, but I love Cassian.
Yeah, I love him too. The fact that he like keeps putting himself in situations for like people that like Nesta that like don't give him 2 cents. You know what I mean? It's like he just has this like
very
heart
protective
of gold. Yes, of his people. Like
very
I just love that about him. And I love how playful he is throughout the book. Like he's not just this like 100% like steel warrior all the time. He is like that fun brother that you're like, oh, we're just gonna get into trouble, like
he's so like good. The kid that like has that serious side. Like, and I know there's other characters in other series that have like done this where they're like the serious one, but they know how to bring humor to make things better. Like, or to like break like tension. Like they're like, okay, we need to breathe a little, so I'm gonna do something. But they're like an actually like more serious type of person, but they know how to like read a room and fix it.
Yeah, I was trying to find what it was that she said, but it was something about his bones.
Yeah, she said something about his like wings being ripped to shred and his.
And he was like, "It'll take more than that to kill me," and she was like, "No, it will not." You better take that shit back. I was like, I need you to shut up, ma'am, please.
And and reading it back, like it would take more than that to like finish him or kill him or something. Like I'm wondering if she just means like because the first time he was taken down, his wings and everything were destroyed when they were dunked, right? And then the second time again, when they're fighting Hybern, he just gets like destroyed by Hybern too. You know what I mean? And then even in the battle, like every time Cassian goes down, like so maybe she meant it that way too. I don't know, but it sounds more like it's like he's gonna die.
Yeah, I was like,
which also makes me kind of nervous for like the next book. Like, so is she still foreshadowing? Like, or are we past that? Like,
we don't know.
I will tell y'all, if we get there and he dies, I'm gonna be like this with my Kindle. It's like gone. I'm gonna be so mad. I'm throwing that book.
Well, talking about deaths, like what about the deaths that do happen in this book? Reactions to those?
To what?
To deaths that, or I don't know, is that too soon? Deaths that happen in this book?
I'll say
oh no, I mean,
I will. There is one death that just like broke me.
Oh, well. I'll tell you the one that made me celebrate, and then I'm sure the one that broke you was the one right after. when that chapter ends, that she ran into the Weaver's cottage, I was like,
yes,
oh my god, like what is she doing there? Like I was like, she's crazy. What is she doing in there? And then, like Ianthe comes in to look for her, and then she basically traps her in there. I was like, chef's kiss. I was like, finally, she gets hers. I was like so excited, but then heartbreak. I cried.
Me too.
I couldn't believe. First of all, I didn't realize how, I don't know, emotionally attached I was to the cereal.
To the cereal.
I was like, what is this? Why am I crying?
I teared up too, and I don't know if it was so much as emotional attachment as so much like how the cereal was really trying to, I guess, support or help Feyre, and she like only realized it then or something, I guess. Maybe that's what it was.
It was really beautifully written, like when the cereal is like, and she's realizing like, oh yeah, you were here for me, and you like did these things for me, and like you are a good person, and I could have killed you at any point, and I didn't do it. You know what I mean? And you're just like, oh, and she's like, I told you, I gotta find my note here. She's like, what'd she say? I told you to stay with the High Lord, and I told you this, and it's like, oh gosh, like, and then at the end, like when Feyre's there with her, and she's told her, she's like, oh, that's what she tells her. She was like, just leave the world better than you found it, and she was like, can you just stay with me? I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know like I could feel so much for this like scary creature. Like it was heartbreaking. It was like the worst death in my opinion. Like in this book.
I think what also happens though too is that kind of how the way these characters are portrayed, right? So like even in like, just to do an example, like with Harry Potter, right? And Dobby's portrayed, like the house elves in general are portrayed as like a kind of lower class race, right? The same way the Suriels, the water raids, all those. So anytime like Feyre kind of lifts them up or helps them, and then they the Suriel ends up dying, like we feel extra bad for them. So I think that's part of it too.
Yeah, that's one thing like I love about Feyre in this book is that like there's no judgment on her side. Like she's like, she helped like the mermaid lady, in the other book, and like now, like even though she was going to the cereal like for something in return, like even in the first book, she like didn't leave her when, what was it, the
Naga, right?
Yeah, the Naga like came from. She could have just left it for the Naga to get it, and she didn't. Like, she just like is like genuinely thoughtful of like other people's like feelings and how they just like move on this earth. You know what I mean?
I think it's because she was poor.
Oh, sure, yeah. Because
I think that's what it
like
is.
That.
Like, yeah, I destroyed by the cereal. And then how about the freaking Weaver and the Bone Carver are siblings?
Oh.
I wish I could find. I wrote it like this big. I was like, what?
And they also expired.
I was
Yes.
sad the bone carver died.
Yeah, the bone, especially when we found out the whole Ouroboros thing, like that he never really like, oh, I just wanted to see if you were worth helping. Like that was his thing. You know what I mean? It wasn't about, I don't know, any self-interest kind of thing. So
Yeah, I loved the bone carver. He was super creepy at first, but like he definitely like was redeemed there at the end.
and you know what else is that I remember Paula in the last pod you had wanted to know more about Amryn and where she came from and everything. And we got a little bit more of that in this
Yeah.
book. And it sounds like, if I remember correctly, the Bone Carver, the Weaver, Amryn, they're all from the same realm, I guess, so to speak, or they're not from Prithian or that earth.
Right.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I don't know if they're from the same. Did they say that they're from the same one? I just thought they said they weren't like from Prithian.
Maybe I don't remember if it's the same
I
one or
don't remember either.
not from Prithian, but but Nesta, the only one having the, I guess, balls to ask her, what's up with your eyes? And she's like, nobody's ever asked me. And then we find out Amryn is like some otherworldly beast assassin.
Not a beast.
Yeah, not a beast, assassin. Sorry.
I want you guys to see this.
What does that say? What does it say, Paula?
Backwards, so you're probably not going to be able to see it right here. Reese is
Reese
dead.
is-
What the fuck?
I screamed, Paula. I
I
screamed.
was like, no. And then Jude was near me and he was like, are you okay? And I was like, no. And he was like, what happened? And I was like, my favorite character died. And he was like, that's probably why you shouldn't read. My character's gonna die. I was like, okay. I was like, and I mean, it took me, I didn't go in right away. I was like, I need to step back because
I tell you, Paula, I screamed at Sabrina. I was like, Sabrina, you told me Reese was gonna be okay. You promised. And yeah. And she just said, keep reading. And I was like, oh, does he come back? Do they do the twinkle droplets on him too? And sure enough.
Okay, let's talk about Reese's death. So obviously it was like very upsetting. I was also like sobbing when I was like reading that, but I was also very upset that they resolved that so quickly in the book. Like, oh, okay, moving on. I'm like, he didn't just like die. And you're not even gonna. I think I would have appreciated it more if they would have like left it off and like we didn't get him back at least until the next book or something.
I feel like you can't do that because like dead is dead.
Yes, like
there's only like a length of time you can wait to resuscitate.
There's only so long that you can use a defibrillator for.
And there's only so long that you can keep your fans from revolting and no longer reading your books because Reese is dead. Paula would have been out. She's like, I'm done.
I'll tell you what, if I was reading a physical book, it would have ended up in the pool.
I was just like, I expected like to be a little bit harder. Like I get that it was like so easy for them to bring back Thera because she was human. And so all of a sudden she had all this power.
That like maybe not into the next book, but the scene where she's like begging everybody, there should have been a little bit of like there was a little resistance, but there wasn't
enough resistance for how much people don't like him. And by people, I mean not the readers, the characters around him.
Right.
But I think that has a lot to do with Tarkin, right? Because Tarkin's the one who was always very like, he suspected Reese was not as evil as everyone made him out to be, right? So, and when Reese was the only one who came to help them, like, and he's like, that's what friends do, or isn't that what friends do? Like, Tarkin knew, like, Reese isn't a bad guy, like, and I think that kind of influences the other, because what is it? The day courts, or what is it? The solar courts are dawn, day and night, and the season courts are like the summer, and so I think that might have helped push that. But I think especially the Autumn Court though, they like forced his hand.
Oh yeah,
Tamlin,
definitely.
like they like was it fair? Somebody said or
I
more.
thought it was
I can't
more.
remember.
Yeah, I
More
think it
said it,
was the
right?
Morgan. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
she told Baron, right? Was it
it's
Baron? It
like
was like,
do
you
it.
better do it or I'm not done killing today.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I wanted like from the
Because they
reading
said,
perspective a little bit more struggle
yeah,
to
when
bring
she
him back.
begged, they said it was different. It was not like, because she was like, bring him back. You did it for me. And they were like, well, you were human. It was different. And it's like, but then they did it anyway. So it wasn't really that different.
Yeah. I mean it was oh well, I don't want to say anything because I don't remember if it's in this book or the next one. No, I think it is this one. I think it is this one where they're talking about when Reese tells them like, "Don't worry, I didn't take any of your powers."
Yeah, it's right there
Yeah,
in
he
that, it's
says.
that very
Yeah,
next chapter.
yeah.
He's like, I'm so kind. I didn't take, I only kept mine.
Yeah,
My
but it's
wife, on the
interesting.
other hand,
It's
She
funny
took
because I
everybody.
suspected.
Technically, no, let's just say that technically Feyre didn't take anything. She was legit dead. They
yeah,
gave it
Gave
to
it to
her.
Right.
him.
They just didn't realize there was power within it.
The only person
right.
that took anything was Nesta.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And we can talk
Ready?
about, yeah, Nesta. Nesta, my God.
Nesta.
Nesta just giving me a headache after headache. Why are you laughing, Paula?
Because Danny's not even looking up. She's like,
I'm making you a bracelet.
oh, does it say Nesta on it?
It didn't say Nesta.
It says chapter 54.
Yes.
And it's in what I have decided are night court colors.
I love it. It's perfect.
I want to know what were y'all. Let's go like back a little bit and talk about.
Yeah, we
Prince.
skipped through like a whole book.
Oh, we did.
We did. Well, it's because the
Prince.
deaths were the most. We didn't even talk about all
Oh,
the
yeah.
deaths, but
Prince Dagden, Princess Brenna, and Jurian.
Dave and Buster. That's what I was calling.
Dave and Buster.
I want to talk about that whole situation when they come in and everything that transpires there. Like, was anybody else like with Dave and Buster's like this relationship is icky? Like,
It gave Game of Thrones vibes.
yeah,
I was like, and it makes me feel like really icky because I have boy girl twins, so it gives me the heebie-jeebies. So it gave me the heebie-jeebies in Game of Thrones, and when I read it, I was like, oh my god.
I think they always like creep me out, but I think part of that is from the twins and Aragon are like super evil, conniving sets of twins. They're boy and Aragon, but I think like I had read it close enough where I'm like, there's something wrong with them.
They're evil. Soulless. They're soulless. But they were Daemati too.
yeah. Well, just one of them, right? Not both of them.
No, I thought it was both.
I think it was both.
Oh, it may be. Like, I don't remember. Yeah.
So were the ones in Aragon. Maybe there was some inspiration there.
It was really dope when they're sitting there all at the table, right? When they come in and they're trying to like push up into their mind, and Feyre was like, "Nope, not happening, bro." And they were like, "Ooh,
Not today."
I enjoyed how they were like, things you need to know that are important. Don't let people in your minds, but we're not going to teach you how to make sure your food's not being poisoned.
Oh yeah.
I wrote here like the Faebane poisoning was like a slick move on their part, like super slick. Like nobody suspected it.
Nope.
They sure didn't.
And they should have. It still pisses me off every time I read it. I'm like, why aren't you getting this? Something is wrong with you.
They didn't teach her that. They didn't give her that skill.
Well, I think hunt. You'd think she would be smart enough to be like,
but it also
wrong.
sounds like Faebane was created. Like they synthesized it. It wasn't something that existed naturally. because they had to
natural?
make
You think it wasn't natural? It was a synthetic.
right. It was because that's what they said. Because then they made a cure for it in the was it the Dawn Court or wherever, or the Day Court, right? But I think it was a high burn kind of like a medicine. Oh
Still,
wait, but Reese was shot down.
Yeah.
Oh
in
no,
the
but that was
last
also
book.
high burn stuff.
Yeah,
That
it
was
was
also high
also
burn stuff.
hybrid.
Yeah.
But they knew what it was, so like they had like prior
I think they
knowledge
just
of it.
learned how to mass produce it. I
Yeah.
don't know if it was like a creation. I think it was more a mass production. So they may have figured out a synthetic version, but I think initially it was more plant in the forest type of situation.
Anybody get the anti-vaxxer feel
When they were all like, nope, we
when
ain't
they were
taking
like,
it.
"Oh, I'm not taking that." I'm like, "Oh, come on, you want to die instead?"
Take your pick.
But right after that, like right after the scene with Ianthe and the rock, and
Oh, that was awesome.
I was like, it was awesome, but for me, I was reading it and I was like, oh, this is
Yeah,
kind
this
of
is vicious.
this is I'm gonna get you now.
Well, it was
Yeah.
like for me, for my sisters, for Reese, for Lucian,
Lucian.
right? So I don't know.
And now
I get it.
Dani, you didn't ask me how I felt about Lucian now. She's asked me every book.
We're not done. How do you feel about Lucian now?
I kind of like him right now. You know, he helped my girl out.
I mean, did he really? Wait, which girl are we talking
Did
about?
he?
Oh, you're talking about the beginning of the book. Okay.
He did, and then he did try to like go out and do stuff. Somebody got there first. That's not his fault.
Okay, so
I feel like
explain
he
how he
is
helped.
helping in the best way he knows how.
Nah.
I thought
Is
he was
it?
not. I don't think so either. I think he was just doing it for his own. Like he wanted to get back to Elaine. It had nothing to do with helping Feyre get through. He wanted to trip back to Elaine.
I feel like that
And
was
not
like
just
part of the
that.
motivation, but I think on a deeper level that he is a good person. He just has never had something,
People.
someplace, or someone to call home.
Nothing is his.
And
He is
so
Well,
a
I
couch
mean,
surfer, essentially. A fancy one, but still.
technically, something is his.
Well, like,
Technically,
no,
something
there's
is
no
his.
we don't do this ownership shit. We don't do that. He is mated, and it's the first time where he's like, I belong with somebody at a place.
Yeah.
He's never had that. He's always had to go somewhere else. He's never had a place that was like a home.
Yeah.
So yes, it might be his motivation, but I think at heart he is a good person.
Yeah,
Back for me and
this book alone, that is still where I stand. Just taking up to here. Like I think that he was just personal. He wanted to get back to Elaine because like we already know, like Tamlin is his homeboy. So he's not quick to like leave his homie. Yeah. You know, like
see, I feel like even earlier than this book, he was like, I'm doing it because it's my duty more than Tamlin is my homeboy.
Mm.
I think it was more out of a sense of duty to Tamlin than Tamlin is my friend.
I definitely think Lucian's a good guy. Or maybe I want to believe he's a good guy. But I think
want to believe he's a good guy.
Yeah, I would definitely want to believe he's a good guy, but a lot of his actions seem out of self-interest, right?
Yeah.
They out of self. Like even Feyre knew, like if I leave him here, he's gonna be tortured. Like because they're gonna see, like in the Anthe thing, like if she leaves and just leaves him there, he's gonna be tortured. So that's where she decided to fight them, right? Like and he had no choice but to leave with her, right? Like, because at that point, what's Tamlin going to believe, right? So that you set her free, you know, like, so I think it's self-interest. I want to believe he's doing a good thing, like he's a good friend, and part of me, I guess, kind of believes it, but a lot of his actions seem out of self-interest than anything else.
So since we're on the topic of this thing and we're talking about Lucian, I want to know, Okay, if you were in Feyre's position, right, and this happened, and you're trying to get back to the night court as quickly as possible, you just did some crazy stuff, and you're like, do I leave Lucian even though he's asking me to take him, or am I out of here? Because they said she had like just enough to winnow out herself, and she chose not to stay with him. Like, what would you have done?
I don't think I
I
would have.
think I would have chunked the deuce. I think I would have left him.
I don't
Spoken
know
like
what
a
I'm
true
going.
Slytherin.
I don't know what I'm going into. She had enough to winnow out away from the area, but not to get home. So there's stuff that's going to be happening. You're in a world where you've only seen two of the courts. I'm taking my local knowledge with me. And that is
fair.
Lucian. He is local knowledge. He knows the area. He knows the best way. That knowing that you have now been drugged and you aren't at full strength, you need every advantage you can get, and he is your advantage.
Trisha's like, nope, Slytherin, out.
I still would have chunked the
I'll
deuce.
do the
I didn't
best I
catch.
can
I didn't
without.
catch Paula's answer. Did Paula say she would stay and fight for him?
Yeah, I would definitely take him with me.
Okay.
But that's for my personal reasons because I like he was my favorite in the first book. So
Yeah.
Me too.
you know,
I was
and then in the
surprised.
second book I had to hate him, and then now I
As a
love him again.
Ravenclaw, I want the smart person.
I know she was like muffled on the bond, but I was surprised she didn't like reach out. But that was because of the apple, right? And everything.
Yeah.
It was the
Yeah,
thing that
it was
she didn't just
opinion.
reach out and say, like, where I mean, oh sorry. That's my dollar to the swear jar. Oh.
Thank you for your
We're screwed.
sponsorship.
We're screwed, you know? Like, and she didn't send that to Reese and be like, come get me or come help, right? Because as soon as her powers, I guess, came back on, they kind of knew where she was at.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Too,
I think
so.
it's just because they'd been like drugging her for who knows how long. So you don't know. So like she can feel some of it, but you don't know how long it's going to take for it to come back.
How about when Azriel shows up?
Ooh.
I was like, yes.
Me too. Me too. I was like, that whole thing was so tense leading up to it, like their little travel. They're trying to get away from the brothers, and I was like, "Ooh, how's she gonna get out of this?" And then you're like, "Yeah!" It's
Frozen
that
2.
moment.
In my head, that's what was happening when.
Frozen 2?
Have you seen Frozen 2?
Frozen
Yeah.
2.
You know when Elsa's
what
like
scene,
trying
though?
to get across the ocean? That's how that battle happened in
Oh.
my head.
Mm.
Oh, I see.
The
A
ice
shadow
battle.
slammed into the earth before us, cracked the ice towards every horizon. Not a shadow, an Illyrian warrior. I was like,
Mm.
Dude.
He is a shadow, technically.
I know.
He's a shadow singer.
He's another one that if something happens to him, I think I would be devastated.
I'm throwing arms. You're going.
Oh, well, maybe we have hope.
I don't think I would be as devastated as Cassian, because I also feel like he like has this kind of like weird situation with Moore, right, where he feels like he has to constantly protect her or stand up for her, which feels like very like overbearing. And so I don't know that I would be like
turned off the screen, guys.
Yes, we find out in this chapter, we find out in this book, Dani, that Moore
It's playing him.
is it. Yeah, well,
He's
yeah.
really
She's
playing
she's
him.
she's protecting herself, knowing
Right,
the
that's fair.
environment. She's
Yeah.
protecting herself, knowing the environment.
I will not be adding input on this subject.
I totally get that, but I do feel bad for him because like he does love her, and I know
He
that like
loves her.
she
he
has
loves her.
to-
She loves him too, though.
I know, but
Not in the way,
way.
not in the same
Yeah.
way.
She
Yes.
loves him, and he is in love with her,
Yeah.
Right. She loves him and he is in love with her. Yeah.
and so you do feel bad.
Danny wants
like,
to say something, but
for
she don't know if
him.
she can.
There are characters you are going to meet, and then there's none of these characters are together. There are some characters you're going to meet in Silver Flames, and I have high hopes, but I don't know.
Mm.
They're my shipping. I am shipping certain couples in Silver
I
Flames.
can't wait to finally be able to ask you a question.
You meet some
Like-
characters that I like
We can
adore.
ask you stuff.
What?
I said 2 more books and then we can ask you stuff.
All right. Come on, y'all.
Then Danny doesn't have to turn off her camera anymore.
What?
So in that same scene, like where Azriel and Cassian come in, one of my favorite parts obviously was them coming in, but I love that like when that Cassian like just immediately starts giving Feyre shit. Like, we've been training this whole time, girl. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, boss up, girl. Come on. Like,
Now I'm going to teach you how to detect poison.
yeah.
You know, as he was doing, like, next day, he's like, you're coming to class. These are poisons. We're going to work on this.
I need you to smell them, taste them.
And then once they get back to Valaris, like one of my favorite things about Reese is like how cool and chill he is. Like he's been away from his lady all this time in like the enemy's camp. And like when he comes in, he's just like, "What's up, guys?" You know, like so chill. That would not have been me. I'd have been like, "Mm-mm."
Yeah, and Lucian said, "So you're High Lady of the Night Court," and he said, "Indeed, she is." I squealed. I was like,
I just love how like chill he always is.
There are no high ladies.
"Yeah, there is now."
So
But,
I
God,
remember
this whole book.
asking. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I should. Is this a good time to transition to this question? I remember asking in the last pod whether or not Tamlin deserved a redemption arc. And in this book, thoughts?
I don't know.
We're
I'm not
getting
ready.
closer.
Yeah, I'm not ready.
I'm
Thank you
not
for
ready
your
to
help.
commit to him needing a redemption arc, but in this book, we are getting closer that there may be some hope for him yet.
Yeah, like thank you for saving them when they were running away, and thanks for the twinkle droplet. Dark Poppy appreciates.
Thanks for letting everyone know you're actually a traitor to everyone now.
Yeah, thanks for slut shaming my girl Feyre. Like just I don't know.
Yeah, we gotta get into that.
I have some problems with that. That was hard to read. Just the way he
So
was.
visceral.
Yeah, and it's like it's not just you, her, and Reese. Because if it's like that, then you're like, okay. But it's like a table full of High Lords, and you're here
At a professional
speaking
meeting.
trash at a professional
Attacking
meeting.
the only high lady.
Exactly. And I was like, ugh.
Also, I just want to know who could walk into a room that's like that, look at Reese as and Cassian and be like, I'll come out of this fine.
Good.
Like girls got some guards.
Yeah. Be careful how you speak about my High Lady.
Yeah, that's right.
I was like, rare.
And and Reese also, power flexing there too, saying like, I could just control your minds. That would just be easier, right? Like,
yeah.
But I'm not.
Well, that was like always the thing is that nobody knew what Reese's powers were. Like they didn't know everything he can do, and they still might not know everything he can do. We might not know everything he can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Like afterwards, like I believe it was Hellion, the day court. Like when they all meet up afterwards, he's like, "Dang, bro, I didn't know we were like coming in cool. I was like been an asshole the whole time."
What about Huey? Maury?
Yeah,
I guessed it. I guessed it before they said it. I was so happy. I was like, wait a second. Wait a second. That's why they all hate him. They all hate him.
The whole back and forth between Feyre and Reese, like when she starts to realize, she's like, I felt like it was like in A Beautiful Mind, like the pictures, like I was like, he was like, whatever you figured out, change your face. I'm gonna need you to reel it in, and then we'll talk about it later. You need to fix your face. I love that whole. She was like everything that.
And so, who do you guys think knows? Because obviously he doesn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think everybody except him knows.
You think so? I think
so.
We say Baron, his whole family. But does his mom know? Do you think?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Sure.
Oh, the mom obviously.
She
knows.
loves him.
But I meant, yeah.
That's her.
Sorry,
baby.
I meant yes.
Yeah,
I was thinking
that's
more of
why
like
she
middle
loves him.
child.
I meant like, did she tell Baron, or did Baron just kind of guess? Like, it sounds more like he just guessed, right?
I think it's an assumption.
I think it's an assumption. Yeah. You know, there
Okay.
was no DNA test back then. I don't know what year this is set in, but I don't think they had
Right.
DNA.
I don't think
They
fairies
definitely didn't have
DNA
Maury.
test.
Uh-uh.
But then also think about this, like Baron is like a bad dude. Like, would he be cool with that if he knew? I don't think so.
I
think Eris has figured it out on his own. I think he knows, and I think
Right.
the mom knows, and I think that's it. I do not think that the
I
other
don't
brothers
think Baron
and Baron knows.
No.
Okay.
because
See,
because
that's
there
right.
would have been some form of retaliation.
Mhm.
Right. Like they keep trying to kill him or something, but not actually following through, right?
Right.
So that's why I was asking, who do you guys think actually knows? Because Reese, Feyre, and the mom and the brother. Like, I think that's kind of where
No
it's at.
offense, but a
That's
lot
a
of the
lot. That's
Fae
all
are
you
not
need.
observant. These Fae
Yeah.
are not the most observant. For having heightened senses, they miss things right in front of their eyeballs.
Yeah, that's probably why.
It's all the glowing, you know? You're so glowy, it just throws you off.
So the predictions, do we think I thought immediately, I was like, you know what? It's funny because I thought after this war, I thought eventually it's Helion, right? Or is it Thesson? Who's the pappy? Who's the
Bobby is
baby daddy?
Helion.
Oh, sorry,
Is it
Poppy is
Elgin or Helion?
Bobby.
Helion.
Helion is the baby daddy. So
Yeah, he's
he like I wondered if so this brings me 2 points. One, I expected like the war is gonna end, people are gonna Lucien might step into his role. Like I thought Helion was gonna die and Lucien would take his role as rightful. Like I thought that was all gonna play out in this book. But the other thing is I don't think Eris is as bad as he's being painted out to be. I don't think
I
so.
agree.
And Dani said someone deserved a redemption arc that was not Tamlin, and I think it's Eris.
I think it is too. I do think I think Eris deserves, and I agree with you, Angel. I don't think he's as bad because when he had that conversation with Moore and what happened to her, he's like, you don't really know what happened. You only know
Right.
your side of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely think he's not as bad as.
And he admitted to who do you think helped Lucien go across the border?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think I don't know, and maybe should we be supporting his claim to the Autumn Court throne?
I don't know yet.
I'm team Eris for the Autumn Court.
I'm team nobody. I don't know yet.
Because Lucien is gonna be he's eventually gonna have to find out, right, that his daddy is who his daddy is. And he's gonna be High Lord of the Day Court.
Yeah, he's eventually I'm sure he'll find out eventually.
Find out eventually.
Look at Dani.
Dani's eyebrow.
Dani.
She had like a little cartoon eyebrow moment.
Maybe we don't find out in Silver Flames. Maybe we find out in the other book coming out next
don't
year or
tell me
whatever.
that. Dani, I have a question for you.
42.
What?
40. She said chapter 42. That's all she said.
No, I didn't. I didn't say chapter.
Oh, she
It's
just
from
said 42?
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's a nerd quote. What is your
yes.
question?
Does Silver Flame end on a cliffhanger?
Oh god.
I know the answer to that. I know the answer to that question.
Don't think.
Like, do you feel like when you finish Silver Flame that you're done?
I don't feel that I'm done because there's other characters I want
Okay,
more
that's
information
enough.
about and other things are still happening. But I do feel like it doesn't leave you like, what the hell?
Okay. All right.
That's good.
So
Yeah.
like it's at a point where you know there's something's coming up, but I don't think you're like, this happened, cut scene. It's not one of those.
You mean it's not Reese died, cut to black?
No. No.
Oh,
It
my
has
God.
it has a very good ending with the knowledge that there was going to be a lot of time till the next book.
Okay.
When did Silver Flame come out?
It came out in 2021.
Oh yeah.
So then we're overdue.
I think we'll have an announcement before the end of the year when the next book comes out, or the possibility that it'll be released like January of next year. Based on when Crescent City came out, I feel like they might stick to like the same type of timeline.
Okay.
Like a January timeline, all right.
Well, because Silver Flame came out in February and Crescent City was in January, so I feel like beginning of 2025 we may have the next book.
That's so long from now.
Oh yeah. It is.
You
Not
gotta get
fast.
comfortable when you read fantasy. You're gonna have to get comfortable with unfinished series because that's most of them. Apparently, that's the only complaint I have about the genre. The only complaint.
Well,
Is
Throne-
Throne of Glass is it finished?
This is questionable. It was believed to be finished. And then when Crescent City came out, they did a huge update to Sarah J. Maas's website. And prior to that, it said completed series. And those magical words disappeared with the update.
Oh.
And
where are the receipts, Danny? Who has the screenshots? Is it on Reddit? Is it on Reddit?
I have theories that we will discuss in the future that could tie both of the books together as a possibility. So I don't think we're going to get like a ton of books, but as Madi put it, we may get a crossover episode.
All right.
I think there is a realm of possibility where there's a book where the characters from both series meet, but I don't think we have a lot more unless there's like a new story she has. I think Throne of Glass ended at a good closure point, unless it moves into the problems that are happening in Prythian.
Is it the same timeline or it's not?
They're overlapping timelines, and that has been confirmed by Sarah J. Maas. So as I think I mentioned this on the live, I think, and Madi like messaged me and it like blew her mind. She's like, "Are you sure?" This is a theory. I think they exist like on the same planet in different continents.
Oh, I think you said, yeah, I remember you saying that during the live.
So I think these are happening, overlapping each other on different continents, where the politics of each other doesn't really affect the other yet. And that's where I think we may get more information, is that I think it is a yet.
All right. I'm new to this book thing. So
this is all Danny theories.
Yeah, Danny.
Don't come at me if something happens and you're like, you were wrong. I'm like, this is a theory.
Okay, I got a question. So let's skip ahead when the Cauldron takes Elaine to the Hybern camp, and Azriel and Feyre decide they're going to go rescue her, okay? And Feyre's like, oh, I'm going to pretend like I'm Ianthe, right? They're never going to know. And the moment she walks in, Jurian knows right away. Like, he's like, what's up, Feyre? It's like, what? You are not doing a good job. But this is...
Hey, ho, what you doing here?
But Jurian knows both of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jurian knows Ianthe very well and has been around, like, knows enough about Feyre. Like, I think any other random stranger could have possibly worked. So like, if I'm pretending to be someone that Paula knows, she's gonna be like, girl, no.
So here's my question. In that whole, like, sequence of things that happens, right? So Feyre is like, oh, I can't leave this other chick here to die. So can we get her in the mix too? Like, would you have gone back for the other lady?
This is the same question you had about Lucian over here earlier.
They're different though. I feel like they're different dynamics because we don't really know this random.
Feyre is known to protect people.
Yeah, but I want to know from your perspective, like, what would you have gone?
I think this chick's going to show up later on in some way. I don't know how, but I think she's coming back. I think there's something important about her that we don't know.
Yeah, because they said, like, they gave her a name, right? Like,
she is a named character. We know where she ends up at the end.
She ends up at the Winter Court, right? Didn't they take her to the Winter Court? I'm pretty sure they gave her to. They gave her to. I forget the Winter Court.
She went to one of the courts and they gave an explanation. Why would we get that background information if she's not going to come into play later on?
That's exactly what I always think. The author is like,
not a random character. You don't. You don't write in a random character just for a rescuing.
Right.
You don't do that, and then you don't update us on where that person is. Something's up, and she's going to be used for something in the future.
So, Dani, you would have rescued her?
Yeah.
Not me. I think Feyre had her priorities crossed. She was there for Elaine. Who is this other one? You know what I mean? Maybe she felt a tug on a different bond. I don't know. Who knows?
Maybe Feyre is a Hufflepuff. I don't think I could leave somebody behind.
I can't leave someone behind. Someone needs help. I'm going to do what I can to help them.
She also said, though, she said it was some sort of guilt because of Claire, right? And the fact she gave the wrong name. So that's there. I think there's some of that in play.
What, me? I wouldn't have left her. Absolutely not.
You're such a good Hufflepuff.
Yeah. Well, I think it's different, right? Like if I couldn't help them, I don't know if I'd grab them, but if you can help them, maybe you do, right?
Yeah, I think if the
I mean,
stakes
she
were
got
not
her
as
out.
high,
She
It's
did
like that thing.
barely.
Did you
barely.
die? No,
She got out because
Yeah,
Tamlin
because
went.
Tam sacrificed himself.
Tamlin went. Whew.
I mean, y'all already know my answer to this question. No, I would have chunked the deuce on this girl unless she was like on my way already and it was like not out of the way. Like I came here for my sister and that's it. I'm sorry about your situation, but
No.
I
Feyre's
gotta
gonna
make sure my
naturally
sister's out.
sacrifice herself first before anyone else.
because she has
Yeah,
all
she
that
has.
trauma from killing those
Yeah,
innocents.
exactly.
So she
From the
can't
first book.
leave.
Yep.
She can't leave those people there.
I was gonna say because I would think I would want to sort Feyre into Gryffindor because of her like bravery, but I think it's more Hufflepuff really in the willing to help others, because helping her family, helping all
Loyalty.
those Fae, right? The
Loyalty.
loyalty, yeah.
Oh
So
yeah, I wrote
I
that
think
down.
I think she's more Hufflepuff, and I don't think that's gonna change by the end of the book because she seems very Hufflepuff vibes
Yeah, in the section where she
in a very
takes
kick-ass
Lucian.
kind of way, like not just like
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Not like just
not like
some.
Elaine.
Not like,
Oh
yeah,
my
exactly.
gosh, not
Elaine. Oh my
Elaine.
God. Elaine.
Elaine is currently houseless in my mind. I don't have enough
Yes.
information.
Well, she's
Ah.
mated to the day court
Doesn't
or
mean
whatever.
anything. People have choices here. We
That's
don't
true.
know.
That's true. That's true. That's true. And I think so in terms of choices, it seems like, I don't know, Asriel and Elaine have a little bit of a
He
Yeah.
handed her a truth teller.
right. And we don't know,
Like
like, does Asriel
tapping
love
on their
more or
notes.
Elaine more? I don't know. I don't know.
I think there's someone out there better than Elaine for Az.
I hope so.
Yes, I
Because
agree.
Elaine's a empty
I
here.
can't wait for you to meet them.
I literally put in here, Elaine is so lame. Finally, she did something other than pout in the corner. Like,
You hocus pocus.
she's the worst. Both of the sisters, I'm like, oh, y'all should have just left them. Thanks a lot.
I saw
Thanks a lot,
somebody.
Ianthe.
I'm
Hey,
still hurt. Yeah. What
Nesta
happened?
stabbed some people. Nesta got some shit done. I know you hate her, but in this book,
No, she wasn't.
she
sitting
did some
around
shit this book. She didn't just sit around planting flowers.
instead of
That's
vegetables.
valid, but she like didn't do a lot either because I wrote in here like literally about Nessa. I was like, girl, like you could have been training with Cassian this whole time, like he was telling
But she
you,
did, didn't
instead
she?
of just being
Do
like
some training.
maybe like one time. Like
I think they were doing more than training.
She
Azrael
trained
was
she
trying
turned off
to.
her camera. She trained with Amryn. So
Yeah,
she trained
most
with
of the time.
Amryn to kind of because they recognized or whatever that they were connected, right? Her and the
She was
cauldron or
made.
whatever. Yeah, she was made. So and it's funny because I think Amryn say something like, "Oh, you're like me." In some like way, she said like we're alike. And I think it was more about like calls to like
Yeah.
is what the serial had told Feyre, but I think there was something about like the fact that Amryn is kind of this vastness bound to this body, and I think that's what she meant that Nesta is like this apparently very. I think she has more power. She has a lot of power that's kind of trapped in this
I think
body.
she's got a lot
I
of
think
power.
that's kind of how Amryn makes it sound.
I predict that by the end of Silver Flames, Paula will cry for Nesta.
Oh, I think so too. I think so too.
I mean, it's me.
Yes.
There is a moment
She
specifically.
She cried for the cereal. Yeah.
There's a specific moment, and I'm like, that moment, Paula's going to cry for Nesta.
I hope so.
Well, I need you to
I
write
hope
it on
so.
a piece of paper.
Yeah,
What's
write the chapter.
I'll pull
Where we're
out the book
supposed to
and grab
cry.
the chapter.
I hope you guys prove me wrong because right now Nesta's just on my shit list. So
Yeah, same.
I think so this book, I still am like not loving her, but I didn't hate her as much.
I still didn't like her in this book.
Yeah. So
I
I mean, I don't like love, I'm not like, but I did like the little hints like that she loves Cassian.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. Yes.
So I had a couple moments. Like
she called for him, right? Like
I know.
he would have died if she didn't call for him. So she knew, And then and when Hybern was gonna kill him, like she threw herself on top of him. So
Yeah.
she
That's not, I don't think you're doing that for your sister, girl. Why are you doing it for this man?
right, exactly.
Yeah.
The wingspan.
The mating bond is strong.
But are they mates?
I just want to say that Dani has turned off her camera 4 times during.
In the last 30 seconds. It does not say they're mates. I predicted in book 2 that they were mates. I think they're mates, and I think Cassian is holding it in the same way Rice held it in, didn't tell Feyre. I think they're mates because even the beginning, their first interaction in A Court of Mist and Fury, when they went to go protect, and Cassian was like, I'll protect you with my life. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, I kind of feel something for this human. So
Might be just the Illyrian in him.
Yeah, maybe.
I got the same vibe, Angel, like thinking that like, oh, maybe he like saw the way Reese did it and it worked out for him. Like, and the way this is happening for Lucian, this is not working out for him. Like, let me just keep this on the cool.
That's such a good point. Like, this worked, this didn't. Guess which way I'm
going this way.
How to lock his Lucian's search history is like how to lock in the mating bond. How not to lock in. Hi, poor Lucian.
Pretend I don't know.
Pretend I don't know. Exactly. That's
Reese, I won.
Reese has all the pointers. He knows how to do it. What about what she saw in the mirror, in the Ouroboros? She was like, I don't want to tell anybody. She didn't tell anybody, right?
Mm-mm.
No.
What she saw?
Mm-mm. No. She told the bone carver, right? Oh no, she just gave him, or no, I think she just gave him the mirror. Wait, did she tell the bone carver?
I think she just told the bone carver, like, I saw myself. Like,
right, yeah, because I think he asked. Yeah.
It was a little spooky.
It was.
Yeah, it was very scary.
Huh?
The mirror of Erised?
The mirror of Erised, yeah.
Maybe more like I don't know if desire is the right word for that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say she would have saw the little bone carver in there.
Anybody else was confused when Lucian's daddy showed up after the real died?
Yes.
I was like,
where did you come from, bro?
Right.
What are you doing here?
Find out that he was like helping Reese get the Weaver or whatever, but I was like, yo, where are you?
I immediately thought like, oh shit, is he a bad guy? Like,
right, I thought so
too. Dual agent here, because we had some dual agents going on. Like, we haven't really talked about Jurian, but like, I was like, oh no, is he flipped to the other side? I was worried. Yeah, that scared me.
No longer an eyeball.
What does everyone think about Jurian?
I didn't think he was a good guy. Like, I never like crossed, because at the end of Mist and Fury, he just seems so unhinged, so crazy. Like, when you're reading it, I was like, this guy is not so like.
This guy is an episode of Criminal Minds.
I was like, there's something wrong with you. And it might be that he was just an eye and a bone for a long time. But when he revealed that he was like really helping them, I still was like,
I didn't believe him either.
Skeptical. Yeah, skeptical.
I was like,
he's playing games. He's playing games.
And then she was like, oh, I trust him. And I was like, girl, you trust too many people.
I didn't trust him until he helped her out when she was in the Hybern camp. And I was like, all right, he's like risking himself for real right now.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, all right.
I have a question now, actually.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry. No, finish up.
I was just going to say, that's also when like my perception or feelings about Tamlin changed slightly.
A little bit. Only in that
I said
moment.
A little slightly.
Carry over. I wasn't like, even when he gave his what do you call them, twinkle droplets to Reese, I still felt like, okay, fine, you did this, great, but really, he did it for you once too. Like, because he gave her, Reese gave him Feyre back, even though it was never.
Yeah, it was never his to begin with.
Yeah, but so I was like, in those moments, you're like, oh, okay, maybe he's like turning a corner. But I still didn't feel like this is it. Like, he's a good guy. No.
I do feel for Tamlin. Like, while I don't think he is the best, I do think that he like really did love her. I mean, like, and like, I don't know how I would feel if like someone that I was like in a relationship with And then I was in this really horrible situation, and they sacrificed themselves knowing how weak and fragile they were to like protect me and my people. Like I do think that he like truly like loved her, but and then I feel bad because like even though I don't agree with his like that's my property, situation, I do see how he could be very protective of her after that situation and how
Yeah,
that
but
could be hard for him to, but I'm not saying he's a good guy. I'm just saying I do feel for him a little like
I don't feel for him because I feel like it's too little too late.
Yeah.
Like this is
fair.
okay, you're trying. I'll give you that. You're trying. But not yet, buddy. Todavía no.
That's fair. You had a question, Angel?
I was gonna ask about Daddy Archeron or Acheron.
Oh
What's her last
gosh.
name? What's her
Yeah,
last name?
Archeron.
Archeron, right?
Yeah.
So because I was like, oh great, you showed up on a ship. Like that's not, you were still like useless. What do you think? Redemption or no redemption?
no redemption.
No redemption.
No, and even then, he wasn't even useless until the
Yeah,
end.
and he's like,
he
wait,
would just
what?
he just you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
2 minutes of helping out does not solve decades of neglect.
Agreed. Agreed.
You know what it's like? It's like, and I think this is what I think, like that Nesta's like one of her issues is that, right?
Yeah.
Like, how am I supposed to like, yes, it's sad. He died. I had to watch him die. It was horrible. But like when somebody's bad and they die and people are like, oh, but he died. Well, that doesn't change that he sucked, So
Exactly.
I think that might be like part of her little like anger.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a small part of it is that she's, torn. Like, yes, it's my father. Yes, he tried to save us and then he died, but he still sucked.
Yeah, I think she's having trouble because like she was like so critical of him. So I think she's like, man, maybe I could have been nicer to him.
Nah, she didn't need to be nicer. He was
I agree.
garbage.
Yeah, I agree. I literally wrote in my book, Dad died, wasn't sad about it.
I mean, I didn't get sad. Like, I got like shocked, right? Because he just got there and then he was like, boom, dead.
I mean, I also don't know what he was
Thanks
expecting.
for showing up.
Coming up all the way to like the King of Hybern, and he's just like a mortal, like a human. Bro, you ain't got nothing in your old, you only got one good leg. Like, yeah, I didn't care for the dad. I didn't think there was redemption there. Not for me, at least.
And then there's the whole intro of all these characters, right? Like Miriam and Dracon,
Dracon.
what's Dracon, and
Exhausting.
then the Firebird, like Queen.
Queen Vasa.
So I understand, correct? Just help me. I'm clear. So I'm clear.
I have very little notes on Queen Vasa because I still couldn't figure out where she came from.
Right. Yeah. So my understanding is we have the human queens that Rice went to go ask for help in A Court of Mist and Fury, right? Mm-hmm. And they asked for proof. They're like, bring back proof. But in that meeting, the queens, there was 4 of them, right?
Yeah.
And is Vasa the one that wasn't there? She's the one that was sick.
Yeah.
Is that who she is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So she was always a queen, but she was sick. Then we have, and then one of these 4 queens is the one that sold them out, or didn't sell them out, but she gave the book to Reese.
Right.
And so
she was the one that
killed
said
her.
She's not really sick.
Right. She's not really sick. And so she's dead. She's still sick. And these 3 queens are cursed because they got old.
Which is one of them, right? Only one of them.
The one that went into the cauldron.
Yeah, the other 2 wouldn't get in after it happened.
Oh, okay. So only one of those queens is immortal.
Yeah.
As far as we know.
They're all immortal.
They are?
Because they've lived for like hundreds of years. I thought they all had like a gift. Maybe not like immortal.
They have like something that was part
they've
of
already lived past their expiration.
Their age. Okay.
So then
I'm still a little
cauldron.
Yeah, I'm still a little confused on the whole what's happening in the human realm with their I guess monarchy
situation.
So I'm still a little confused. I need a little bit more story on there. And
how much do we know about our bird girl?
That she's cursed.
Okay.
That she's a fire.
She's a firebird in the daytime
at night, I think, and queen in the day or something. Or something, the other one or the other way.
Okay.
Yeah. And that Miriam and Drakon left,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't as, I guess, Jurian wasn't as jealous as we thought, or as the world painted him out to be.
Well, he wanted to ask for forgiveness for what he
Yeah.
did.
Okay.
Definitely, like, they introduced all these characters so fast with very little, like,
Right. They just came out of
development.
nowhere.
You're just like, beep, 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 beep. You're like,
You will get some backstory on all of the above.
Good. Well, Dani did say we're getting new characters in Silver Flame, so I hope it's not as rushed as this one seemed, because if we get new characters,
There's 2 characters specifically that
because if we get new characters, we need some backstory. They can't be rushed like
There
Queen
are-
Vasa and all this.
2 characters that are almost main characters in the next book.
oh wow.
Almost
Like,
me.
they're featured a lot. I wouldn't call them like a main character, but we interact with them a lot.
Probably Dracon and
We haven't met them yet.
Ooh.
She says they're new. She says we don't even know their
brand new.
names.
Interesting.
That's what I'm saying. Hopefully we get backstory on them too, because
Yeah, no,
I just
you
don't
will
wanna be-
you will get backstory on all of the above, but you're also going to get 2 amazing new characters.
good. I don't want to be more
Amazing.
confused. I don't want to be more confused. That's all.
And who will hopefully become friends with other characters that we love and adore.
And can we get some character names that are not so similar to other people's names? Because, like, I kept getting Vivian, which is like Moore's like bestie.
But
and then
that's married to
yeah, one of the high
Kalias.
Callius.
Yeah. And then there is Varian, who is like the prince of Adriata underneath Tarkin. And I'm like,
That's
wait,
Amren's man.
yeah, yes. And I love their relationship. I love the 2 of them together.
I love when Amren received the blood diamonds.
Yeah, she's like, I'm keeping these. These are mine.
And my favorite's like, you're not getting those back, you know? Like, I love how much Amren is like an otter and she just like shiny things.
Mhm.
Did you mean Niffler? Sorry.
A Niffler works too, but an otter does like shiny things. I specifically went for otter. There's otters in Crescent City.
Ooh, I like that.
My favorite sea creature is an otter.
Mine too.
So will I like
hands.
will I like Crescent City then?
They're not like a main character. They deliver the mail.
Aw,
They're little otters and they wear little yellow vests and they bring letters.
that's so cute.
So they're the owls.
Not like every day. They're not like daily postmen, but they do like do a lot of deliveries and I love it.
That's so cute.
Hey, how about when Cassian is delivering his love letter to Nesta and Elaine stabs the king in the neck? Like, it happened like right afterwards. I was like, oh shit. I was like, he's like, you know, I don't have any regrets, only that we did not have time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, no, that'll ruin the mood. And then Nesta went and like beheads
the king.
Yeah.
She's like, hold that thought.
He's like, thanks, Cassian. That was cute. But let me finish my job here.
Yeah.
That was adorable.
You know, that letter, I was thinking about the speech that Reese gave before they went into battle, and he was like, I would have never known this if I was like, oh man.
I know. And that's when I was like, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
I was like, he's gonna die. He's telling all these people why he loves them. He's gonna die. And I'll tell you what, for this book specifically, I ran into a spoiler on Instagram. And it was not like that it said spoiler and I didn't swipe away. It was just a girl. I'm going to describe it to you. It was a girl like sitting on her bed like this. And I don't know why. And I usually scroll silently until I see something pop up. But it was like, and then it just said, when you hear this, your heart will break. And I was like, well, I feel like crying. Why not? So I opened it. I put the volume up so I could hear it, and it's Feyre screaming, Reese, like when he's dead. And I was like, so I am so glad that happened in this book, because I don't think I would be
Waiting.
able to finish. Not, and I couldn't tell anybody because I didn't want, like, I didn't even tell Dani. I just told everybody. I'm pretty sure I ran into a spoiler. I just don't know what book it's for. And I didn't want to tell anybody because first, I obviously, like, I don't want to ruin it for somebody else. But then I didn't want, like, confirmation
or denial, because that's a spoiler in of itself.
Right. So I was like, oh my
It's
God.
gonna
I'm
be
gonna
like,
have to live
he
with
doesn't
this.
die, and then you get to the scene where he dies, and you're like, excuse me.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, so when he died, I was like, oh, this is it. Well, at least it happened, but I was devastated. But
Yeah, PSA for anybody listening to this who's reading these books for the first time and you're on Instagram, stay off the explore page. Like,
Yeah.
don't go to the explore
no,
page.
but even if I go into my feed, right, and I click on a reel, it could be a Harry Potter reel. Okay. The next one, Throne of Glass, Crescent City.
You want to know what? You are consistently posting reels that are tagged as Sarah J. Maas and Akatar, so you are going to naturally get them.
Yeah.
You share
it's
them,
funny.
right? Like, you
And I'm not gonna
engage with
stop,
them
so.
way too much to not get them.
And all I did was like one of them and send one to Sabrina. I was like, oh, hey, this is funny because
Nope,
I
you're
read
done.
this. And all my explore page was Akatar. And I just had to stop because I was like, well, I don't want to spoil anything. And Mel just mentioned, she spoiled already that scene.
Which one?
Mel geeking out with Melly Mel.
No. What got spoiled?
The Reese's death. There's a fan art. There's fan art in the explore page. And it's funny? As soon as I went to my explore page, I saw the fan art she was talking about. Like Feyre's laying on top of Reese and like so she's she's in book 1 and she loves Tamlin. You know what I mean?
Oh, I
she's
know.
like,
She finished it though, and she said, "Oh, but I think I kind of like. I don't think Reese is such a bad guy." And I was like, "Dark Poppy."
Yeah, I told her you're gonna love book 2. You're gonna love book 2. That's all.
Yeah, she had already ordered it. She hadn't started it yet, but listen, we started within ourselves. We started a trend. I don't care what anybody's sure. It was popular before, but now
it's like making a comeback.
it's making a comeback. It's still here.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Yeah, every time I get like one of those like reels, like my friend told me to read this book,
and
and
it's like
I read
stacking.
it. Yeah, the stacking, and then it's like the one I shared it in my stories yesterday, like that you read it and then you're crying all of a sudden, like this is a really good book. Like, but yeah, that was Dani. It's Dani's fault.
I hope you'll like more. I hope you'll like more of the fantasy genre. Like because I know you said you really love this book, or at least A Court of Mist and Fury. And I guess by the end of the series, I'm sure you're going to be like, I love this series.
Right.
And I hope I don't know, because I've heard other series, I don't know, are better. You know what I mean? Like I hear there's other ones that are great. So I'm like, ooh, like I have a bunch on my TBR already.
My TBR is ridiculous. I didn't read until this year, and now all of a sudden I have
Me too.
80 books on my TBR.
So I hope you find like I know right now the Fourth Wing thing, right? And you put it down. I think you said you put it down.
I'm not ready for it.
Yeah. So I hope and that one's good too, So I hope that you still find another one that's just as good or still good, because
that's my concern. My concern is that I won't.
Like, did we set the bar too high?
Yeah, did I set the bar too high? Like, should I have not read this first? Should I have read Fourth Wing first?
There's other series out there. Like, I think you might like the Cruel Prince series, which I really do enjoy, from Holly Black.
I think
I've heard a lot of people say
we were talking about it in our Fairy Book Club chat.
Okay.
I haven't read that one yet. It's not on my TBR either.
So,
but
I like them, and there's a duology with it. So
okay.
But the duology is only like 2 or 3 books. The most recent one just came out.
Yeah.
This one I like though. I like this one. Oh wait, are we still on? What was the question, Trisha?
Okay, I got a fun question. So, Lucian got this robot eye, right? It's supposed to they're supposed to allow him to see through glamour, right? Like, so how did he not see through Feyre's when she went?
He did see through it. He didn't believe her the whole time.
Yeah, but there's a part where she let go of the glamour, and then he could see the tattoo. That was like their mating bond tattoo. Because remember, she talked about how she like covered it up.
Right.
The other one was gone.
I got the impression that he knew from the beginning that something. I don't think he knew like that they were mated or whatever, but he knew that she was playing a game.
I think
And
the only one that knew was Alice.
do we know for certain
Oh,
that
Alice.
do
Does
we
she
know
come
for
back?
certain that
I hope so.
Oh, I had a question about that. Does she come back? Because it's funny when I mentioned it to Sabrina, she's like, "Oh, I forgot about her," and it was in the first book.
Oh my gosh. When that battle first happened I was like, oh my gosh, is Alice okay? Like, where are her
The
and the
summer
kids
court
at?
battle?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought she was gonna. I thought they were gonna find her when Feyre and Moore were,
I was scared
helping all the
too.
soldiers.
I didn't get to hear from her.
Did we find out that the eye does see through glamour? Like, did they explicitly state that? I don't remember that.
I thought they talked about that in the first book.
Maybe.
No, because
I don't think it
No,
says that it
because she-
sees through glamour. I think that they say like it helps him to like see and it's enhanced, but I don't think it specifically sees through glamours. I think all the fairies are kind of trained to try to see through a lot of glamours, depending on the level they are.
Yeah,
Oh,
but it's like Danny said earlier too, right? They don't see anything right under their noses. So
fair.
All right. Any last thoughts on Wings and Ruin?
can't wait to see the hype about Nesta.
Not
we
a
can't
fan.
wait to fall in love with Nesta.
Yeah.
Not me.
Danny, tonight I need you to write on a piece of paper what chapter
I'll go put a
and
sticky note in it.
date
Here's my book.
Paula cried.
So we
That
can
way, when I
emotionally
get to
prepare
that chapter,
ourselves.
because when I share stuff in my stories, I share the chapter because I figure number one, if you're reading it, you could just grab the book and look at the chapter and be like, "Oh, okay."
Mhm.
Because people are
I'm
like,
not
"Oh,
going to tell you the chapter because I don't want you to be expecting it. But
Oh,
I'm
no,
gonna
I don't
put a
expect you to
sticky-
tell me the chapter. I
I'm
want you
gonna
to put a little piece of
sticky
paper in there,
note in it.
and when I start crying, and I want the paper to have the chapter, even though it's going to be in that chapter,
Mhm.
and
The
today's
line?
date.
Oh, today's date. I'm waiting to see the hype. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm impatient.
Are any of you reading anything that's not Frost and Starlight to recommend? Because Paula and I did our recommendations that we're reading right now on yesterday's episode, so we really don't have anything new to add.
Well, I did
No.
start Matthew Perry's memoir.
Oh, nice.
Because I guess I want to cry. I don't know.
I'd rather you read that than look at spoilers.
I've gotten really good at swiping away. Like,
I'm still reading Kingdom of the Wicked. But I put it down when Paula said, "All right, we're starting Frost and Starlight." I was like, "Let's go." And I read Frost and Starlight in a day.
he did. I was
I
like,
finished it in
I
a
went
day.
into Storygraph and I was like, he's already done.
I finished it in a day. But and I only fell asleep once. So but it was good. It was good.
Let me know when you start Silver Flames, and I may do a reread with you guys.
Well, I'm gonna
Will you join us on Storygraph?
Yes. Yes, she will.
Sure.
Yay!
Okay, send me the info, Danny, so I can add you.
Right. So see, that's what I'm saying. But I don't know if I start Silver Flames until Paula says, "Okay, let's go," and then I'm gonna wait.
Listen,
When Paula
I
says,
think-
"Let's go,"
I say
I'm
read your
gonna be
book.
on a train. I'm gonna be on a train this weekend for 6 hours. So
there it is.
I'm
There it
pretty
is.
sure I'm gonna be done with Frost and Star. I just want you to know, Rudy finished Frost and Starlight.
What?
When?
You finished it yesterday.
This one,
Yeah.
I recommend it.
Can you say the title and the author?
It is Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie. I think her last name's Italian.
Scalco.
Yeah. I recommend it. I think I talked in the last pod what it was about. It's like I still think it's like a friends to lovers thing, and I think I'll finish it tonight, but it's good. What about
Anyone
you,
else
Trisha?
reading anything else that they would like to recommend?
I am not reading anything else. I am like a one-lane reader. I
That's fine.
tried to start Ready Player One because my husband told me I needed to read it,
Good
and I
book.
like tried to get into it, but my brain is just like over here, like I want to read.
You're in
something
Valaris.
today. Yes,
I
Yeah.
will
You're
always
in fantasy.
recommend Ready Player One is one of the only books I own on all of the devices.
Oh, wow.
And reread it on multiple devices because it's my go-to road trip book. Will Wheaton reads it, and if you've heard anything from me, Will Wheaton is like the one celebrity I would love to meet. He's
Okay.
like top of the list for me. And he's an amazing reader to the point that I actually search for audiobooks that he reads. And then I have the physical copy and then an ebook copy because I always just want it because it's a book I go to all the time. I'm like, oh, I'm standing in line. I'm stuck here. Oh, Ready Player One.
There's an author online. I don't know, Trisha, if you're trying to explore your genres, like different genre, because Ready Player One, I believe, is sci-fi, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think
Sci-fi adjacent.
there's an author
Sci-fi
on
adjacent.
TikTok I found, and he recommends like, oh, these are like beginner, like he says, I would never recommend like Lord of the Rings to someone who was interested in
no.
fantasy. You know what I mean? So he has like very like kind of nice entry level books.
Ready
I'll send
Player
them to
One's an
you.
entry level.
He didn't recommend it only because of the author. He said it's a problematic author or something. Or is it that one or is there someone else?
I don't think.
It's one of the
No,
ones. It might
you
be.
are talking about. Hold on. Ender's Game has a
Yes,
problematic.
Ender's Game has a
Ender's Game was
problematic
one of
author.
the first sci-fi books and is a very problematic author, but it was one of the first science fiction books that was ever. It was actually written as like short stories in like
Yeah.
a newspaper and then was released as a book. It's a 3-part book. It is a very good book, but it has a problematic author.
Yeah, that's what it was. So anyway, he recommends books without problematic authors at this point, up to this point.
Mhm.
He's very open. He's like, I'll change my
That could
opinion if
change
some.
next week.
Yeah, exactly.
At
That's
this
exactly
time,
what he
Ernest
said.
Cline, who wrote Ready Player One, is not a problematic author that I'm aware of. It is a good entry level book, and I understand why your husband likes it is because if you are a gamer who loves like 80s nostalgia,
Yeah, that's what he
this book,
said.
yeah, like it's not sci-fi. I will take that back. It's not really sci-fi. It just lives in like a very digital world,
Yeah.
like that you can like live in the digital world essentially.
Yeah, I saw the movie, so I'm like, I'm sure I understand the concept of the book, so I'm sure I
The
would
book is
love the
so
book.
much better. They changed a lot in the
Yeah.
movie. I always laugh at it because they have some Star Trek references in it. And whenever Will Wheaton's reading it, who was in Star Trek, it always just makes me giggle.
Oh.
I don't know that I didn't know who Will Wheaton was until I saw him in Big Bang Theory.
Same, Paula, same.
I was like,
But he was a Star Trek actor, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
He was a young Star Trek actor
He was on
essentially.
The Next Generation.
Okay.
Yeah. I have his book that he wrote. He's very big supporter of mental wellness, and like he does not do a lot of conventions specifically because he knows his mental health cannot handle it.
Do people not like his character essentially? Is he like
People
the
did not
Anakin
like
of Star
when he
Wars?
was on Star Trek. No, people hate his character. But you have to like remember that he was on a show and he was the only teenager on a show that was all adults. So everyone thought his teenage character was very pompous and essentially a 13-year-old boy who was very smart and was smarter than like some of the crew members type thing. So like people hated on his characters like to the point like that it led to him. It took him years to come back to really appreciate his time on Star Trek. He was also unfortunate. He was in Stand By Me. He was
I
a
was gonna say I
child.
loved his character in Stand By Me.
He was a child actor that was forced into it and then had everything taken away from him by his parents. So he
So
had.
he's not okay. I thought he was like, because in Big Bang Theory, he's like an ass.
Oh, and the only reason he went back to do that, he plays a caricature of himself.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not actually like
He's not
that.
a,
That was like, and
okay.
it was one of the things that made him want to do it. He's like, I don't want to go on a show and play myself. They're like, oh no, we want to make you like the arch nemesis on the show. And that's why he went back and did
he's
it.
Sheldon's arch
He's
nemesis.
Sheldon's
Yes.
like he's Sheldon's villain, so they wanted to like
Yeah.
villainize him. But
Why
no,
he's
he's
Okay.
not like that in
really-
real life.
Okay.
Why don't we drop our socials where we can find each other?
Trisha?
Let's start with you.
Yeah.
Trisha.
I'll start. You can find me on Instagram or on Threads at the Texas Potterhead.
And you can find me on Instagram at Wizard of Main Street, but on Storygraph, you can find me at Angle Paradox.
You can find me on Instagram, Threads. Yeah, Instagram and Threads at Unconceivable. And I don't. Is my thing on Storygraph Paulita's World?
Paulita's World, yes.
Paulita's World. Paulita's World. You can also find me on Instagram at More Than Favors, which is my planner account and budgeting. And also, obviously, I'm the co-host of the lovely Creating Magic podcast. You can find me at Creating Magic Podcast, along with Dani.
You can find me on the Instagrams at Mandrakes and Mischief. You can find the podcast on Pinterest now too at Creating Magic Podcast. Pretty much all the things under the podcast. And then I'm not on Storygraph anymore, so I can't share that yet. And until next time,
Keep creating.
With another clever idea to get us killed, or worse, expelled.